Greetings to all Humie citizens of Perium. I am Smart Boy Septimus, head wood fixer to Scribble Boss Killam Snickspear, and adjunct professor at Smart Boy Thinky Pants Big Brain School for Small Brain Humies, or as the Orks would say, a junk professor. The following is a chapter that I've recorded from my best-selling book, Don't Be a Git, a Humie Guide to Perium. I have decided to make my work freely available to the public so that Humies here on Earth and other Perial planets can benefit from its contents regardless of how many teeth they have. Enjoy. De Emperor protects. That has been the mantra of Perium since De Emperor's meteoric rise and unfortunate disappearance. Among Humies it is whispered, De Emperor will return, while Orks will simply say, he'll be back. Now, it is important to remember that most Orks are very different from Perial Orks. Non-compliant Orks are violent, brutal savages who only want to fight and kill. Now, some might say that Perial Orks are just as brutal and violent, but there is a very important difference. As mentioned before, De Emperor protects. It is unknown why De Emperor got this notion into his head or why his boys went along with it. Rumors, of course, abound, but I prefer not to speculate on that issue. I prefer to focus on the reality. The important thing is that the Orks of Perium are somewhat interested in the protection of Humies. They will attack hostile enemies that are threatening Humie settlements, and they don't attack Humies that they consider to be compliant. Whatever it is that caused this behavior, it seems to be transmitted through the Primorks and the Space Morons and the Astromilligratum. Any greenskins that are part of these groups seem to strongly embrace the creed of De Emperor protects. But Orks and Gretchen who are not members of the Space Moron or part of Perial Guard are much more dangerous as they behave more like normal greenskins, eager to fight and break things. Now, Orks always follow the biggest and meanest Orks around, and the loyal Primorks as well as the Space Morons are the boss Orks. They're much bigger, and they tend to keep the lesser Orks in line. However, when the boss isn't around, these less civilized Orks can cause problems in Humie settlements, starting brawls, squabbling with local gangers, sometimes even attacking and raiding Humies. Some of this is able to be controlled by the Albite-Yes, who seem happy to come in and crack a few renegade Ork skulls. But this hardly discourages the upstart Orks. This is the main focus of this chapter. How to deal with these more dangerous Orks and Gretchen. First, it's important to learn where they're most common. The further you are from central Perial control, the more rowdy the Orks tend to become. So if you're in the slums, or on the edge of deep earth, or one of the colonies on the edge of Perial space, or any place where the presence of Space Morons or Perial Guard units are scarce, the Orks are more likely to be rowdy. Some may believe that the most appropriate thing to do when dealing with these kinds of greenskins is to be aggressive and confrontational. Show the Orks that you're not afraid and you'll scrap to defend your home. While this is quite effective with dealing with Gretchen, who can easily be bullied and scared off, this is just an invitation for trouble from the Orks. Orks love fighting, and if you tell an Ork you'll fight him if he doesn't leave, he'll be more than happy to start brawling, and that will likely attract more of his mates, and soon you'll have a full-blown battle on your hands. The first goal is to avoid conflict if you can. If there are wild Orks around, stay out of their way if possible. Let them fight amongst themselves. Try not to look like a good time. Encourage these more savage Orks by setting up fighting pits around your settlement and keep a few varieties of vicious squig around in order to keep the pits well stocked with things for the Orks to fight. Whatever you do to get the Orks fighting someone who isn't you, do it. Sometimes conflict is unavoidable. If that is the case, make it brutal and brief. If possible, keep high lethality weapons on hand in order to deal with rowdy Orks quickly. I would suggest having a burner on hand if that is possible, or perhaps a high caliber shotgun. If there must be a fight, make the fight end quickly before the scuffle attracts the attention of other orcs. As much as orcs don't fear death, they still don't want to get snicked before there's even a proper fight. Now, some wild orcs you can actually work with. You need to be careful, but it is possible to successfully interact with a few of the clans. Blood axes have been interacting with Humies for a very long time, and it is possible to negotiate with them and point them in the direction of a better fight. Quite a few Humies will hire non-Space Moron blood axes to protect their frontier towns, if that's the best option available. The other clan that is possible to work with are the Bad Moons. They're highly motivated by money, and if you demonstrate yourself to be a solid business partner and a reliable source of teeth, it's possible to be able to work with them. Now, there are no guarantees, of course. Plenty of these kinds of partnerships go south when the leader of the mob gets bored, and the thing is, there are no guarantees in the galaxy anyway. All we can do is get the best information we can and do the best we can in the situation we find ourselves. Hopefully this has been enlightening for you. Our partnership with the Orks of Perium might not be perfect, but I believe we can make it work. We must keep in mind that the nature of orcs is not the same as human nature. Always keep in mind what an orc is. They are weapons of war. As they are often fond of saying, orcs was made for fightin'. Any Humie who is not keenly aware of that fact will likely have a very short lifespan in Perium. Now, I wish you all the very best of luck, and I will continue to release chapters in this free audio format for the benefit of Imperial citizens. I wish you all the very best luck of Mork, and as always, Wa de Emperor, Wa de Perium. Thank you. No man do they call me, my mother and my father, and all my comrades as well. Thank you all for listening to Smart Boy Septimus's Guide to Perium. If you enjoyed what you heard, please leave a like and a comment so that one day you too can learn to survive in an orky simulacrum of the Imperium of Man. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so in order to hear more chapters from Smart Boy Septimus's Guide to Perium. If you would like to support me, you can do so via PayPal or Patreon or Teespring, and all of those links will be in the description, of course. And finally, if you are unfamiliar with Perium, I have a number of playlists that deal with them. Those links will be in the description, and there will also be a link to the Guide to Perium playlist, and that should be appearing on screen right now. Thank you all once again for listening. No Man out.